Morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Awesome. Everybody's had coffee? You're all settled in okay? Good stuff. Awesome. Well, I'm super, super excited to be here. Today, first I wanted to start by asking, how many of you have felt, let's go back a second. How many of you have felt that Google's just not that into you? Or maybe not into your site? Show of hands. Okay. Google's into many of you. That's good. This thing is auto-advancing, and I don't know why. Go back a few slides. There we go. OK, there we go. This is where I wanted to be. OK, so we're going to be talking about that feeling when Google's maybe just not that into you, and how it relates to understanding core updates and search intent. So yes, if you've heard me speak, if you follow me on Twitter or anywhere, you probably noticed by now that I do talk a lot about core updates. And many SEOs wonder, well, why is that? Like, why are you and your team at 𝗙liche Digital so obsessed with core updates? Why is this something that you work on with your clients so often? And many SEOs will also say, don't chase the algorithms. Like, if you're doing everything right, you shouldn't have to worry about core updates. They shouldn't be impacting your site. So why do I care so much about core updates? Come on. There we go. Why do I care so much? Why has this become such a big obsession, something that my team and I are working on so frequently? So we'll start with a little SEO story time. So everybody get cozy, get nice and comfortable. We're going to go back to, let's see, April 23rd, 2012. This was me sleeping peacefully. I could sleep, I could dream, I could relax, because my company at the time that I was working for, it was a financial startup. I was running the one-person SEO department. I could rest and relax because I knew that we were ranking number 2 for our target keyword. And our strategy, or my strategy at the time, was to really just follow all the best practices from Moz's beginner guide and watch Whiteboard Fridays, and this is actually how I learned SEO, and it was very effective. But to be honest, there was another side of my strategy, kind of the dark side. And the reality is I was buying a lot of links. At the time, I actually thought this is how SEO worked. This was conventional wisdom, because guess what? It was working super well. I actually think this was largely responsible for us kind of earning those top positions. Now, the next day came, April 24th, 2012, the Penguin update. So, went to work that day, and lo and behold, discovered that the Penguin update had destroyed all of our rankings. All those precious rankings that we worked so hard to build. And it honestly set the company into a panic. We were super reliant on SEO. This was something that was really driving a lot of business for us. So suddenly, all the rankings were gone. And I attempted to just disavow thousands and thousands of links that I had built. Like, I suddenly had to learn how to recover from the Penguin update and spent maybe like 2 months just like frantically trying to disavow everything. And sadly, I ended up resigning. It wasn't working out. I felt awful, and there didn't seem to be anything I could do. But realistically, I just decided I never wanted to do that again. Like, I never wanted to put a company in a situation where SEO was just wreaking havoc on their business and causing so much detriment to their bottom line and so much anxiety around the office. I just never wanted to do that again. So this is when I decided I'm going to move into the agency world and do things right. So things were going really well in the agency world. And fast forward to this client in 2017. Our team kind of found this SEO opportunity that felt a little bit too good to be true. I kind of got this weird feeling in my stomach. And yeah, I kind of had a bad feeling about this. Like, something was off. And I kind of remember telling the team, guys, we should be careful. I don't know. I think we're kind of treading on thin ice here. Turns out it was too good to be true. Woke up on August 1st of 2018, lo and behold, another core update called what we called the Medic update. So all this great visibility, all the great rankings, all the traffic that we were driving for this client completely disappeared overnight. Actually, there was a second Medic update, so then we lost even more. And there was another core update, we lost even more. And then there was another core update, and we lost completely everything. And the client essentially flatlined. Like, we lost everything we had done. It was devastating for this business. And I was like, not again. And luckily, we were able to help recover this client, although it took over 3 years to do so, and a lot of hard work. A very, very EEAT-focused strategy, which we'll talk about. It actually required that they built a brand new website focused on EEAT. And you can see with future core updates, they were able to get back more or less to where they were before. And this isn't just a one-off anecdote, a couple of clients. This is many different websites that are impacted by core updates. And as core updates change and evolve over time, all types of different sites can be impacted. And as you can see, core updates can wreak havoc on businesses. And this isn't just a secret of the SEO world. This is something that makes major news. So this was a 2011 New York Times article that was talking about JCPenney. They actually did get into a little bit of a situation with being kind of exposed for also buying links. Again, at the time, everyone was doing it, right? But even the New York Times talked about the fact that there was an algorithm change that Google had just rolled out that had a negative impact on JCPenney search results. So this is making major news. This was also an earnings report from Overstock in 2015, where Overstock was telling its shareholders, you know what, we're experiencing some revenue declines or some slowing of revenue, and that's actually due in part because Google made some changes to its natural search algorithms. So again, it's not just some secret of the SEO world. So let's take a step back and let's talk about what even is a core update. By the way, I have my money on one launching this week, so brace yourselves. There's no insider information, it's just a hunch, it's just a feeling, so we'll see. Anyway, core updates. So to kind of take a step back, Google employs over 16,000 search quality evaluators, who are real people, around the world to provide feedback to Google through evaluations that they do consistently throughout the year all around the world. And as a fun side note, our MC Cyrus became a search quality evaluator, and he actually wrote an article about it. It's awesome, you should read it, and I think he still actively is one, so that's pretty cool. Like, anybody can be one. Read that article, it's very, very illuminating. So what the raters are tasked with is to determine fundamentally a couple of different things. So number one is needs met. To what extent do the search results that Google is testing or showing the evaluator, are they meeting the needs of the user? Are they useful? Are they matching the intent that the user was looking for? And also there's this other notion of page quality, which is kind of the same as what Google calls EEAT. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. They talk in depth about this. It's a document that you could read online. It's 160 plus pages. But these are two kind of important fundamental concepts of what the search quality evaluators are tasked with doing. Now, it's also important to understand that the raters provide feedback to Google, but they don't directly influence rankings. They can't manually adjust the rankings of a given site or change rankings around or anything like that. There's many other ranking systems that are also at play, many of which rely on machine learning. So this is kind of an overview of all those different ranking systems. You've probably heard of many of them, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. It's not the case that the search quality evaluators are directly impacting Google's algorithms. It's kind of an indirect process. And Google then announces core updates usually every few months. We're kind of overdue for one right now. And it'll go and add them to their list of ranking updates. So you can actually go online and search for Google's updates. They have something called the Search Status Dashboard. It's a mouthful. And they then kind of share what's happening, what are all the different updates, when did they start, when did they end, both core updates and otherwise. And when a core update rolls out, essentially ranking signals and weights are added, removed, or modified. Or maybe Google has some new initiative or some new goal or mission that they're kind of trying to steer the rankings in a certain direction for whatever reason, which we'll talk about. And that can kind of lead to different outcomes when core updates are launched. So the way Google wants us to think about this is perhaps like using the keyword best movies as an example. In 2017, maybe we had this red article about best movies, followed by the yellow one, followed by the blue one. But naturally in 2023, we're going to have different expectations of what's helpful, what's interesting, what's relevant. So naturally, a core update could change the ordering of the movies. And now we're seeing the orange article appear first and the green one. That yellow one's still there, but it moved down to position 3. This is kind of what takes place during a core update. And Google always tells us there's nothing inherently wrong with pages or sites that may not be performing as well after a core update rolls out. Google also tells us that there's nothing in a core update that's targeting specific sites or pages, but it's really just about kind of changing how they evaluate quality overall. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is how I feel, I think my team feels, when we read some of this guidance from Google, like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do about that? Like, if our client lost 80% of its traffic overnight, telling them that there's nothing wrong with their site is not really that helpful, right? So we have to do something. So what actually changes during a core update? So number one, I would say this is the most important thing. If you have any type of large-scale site-wide quality issue, this is when it can catch up to you. Examples of site-wide quality issues would be something like, let's see. Come on, clicker. There we go. Aggressive advertising that can affect usability and performance. So you know how you can be really frustrated with a site because there's so many ads and it's so hard to use? Often with core updates, it's sites like that that start to see declines. You might have a significant thin or duplicate content issue. So if there's something where you're either intentionally or unintentionally creating a lot of low-quality duplicate content, this can get you in trouble during core updates. Related to this would be excessive low-quality local landing pages. So maybe you don't have locations in many different cities, but you want to rank in those cities, so you create pages that don't have a lot of helpful content. If you do this kind of strategy at scale, it's actually technically called doorway pages. This can get you in trouble during core updates as well. Maybe you have a lot of low-quality content or content that's lacking EEAT for the topic that you're writing about. That's not great either. And lastly, another big trend is deceptive affiliate links. So maybe the user thinks that they're clicking on an internal link or an external link, but they don't realize you're actually redirecting them to Amazon. That's something that we see a lot of as well. And also just being too salesy with your money or your life content. So if the content is intended to provide information about, let's say, medical advice, legal advice, financial advice, you want to be very careful about pushing those users into making a transaction. So another cautionary tale from a former client. This was a client who came to us and said, you know, I really want to rank in all these different cities, even though I don't have locations there, so I'm just going to build thousands of fake local landing pages, one for each city that I care about. There were thousands of them. And we said, you know what, this is just not really a great idea. We don't recommend it. We've seen this get sites in trouble before. They did it anyway. And interestingly, it worked. Like many semi-spammy SEO strategies, it actually worked for a long time until the May 2020 core update, and it stopped working. So when you've done this enough times, you can start to see that things work until they don't. And they often don't work during a core update. And then what happens is it's very, very difficult to recover from that. You can see that the site kind of reached a new low after that happened. So if this happens, you have to develop a core update recovery plan. You have to prioritize what are the biggest systemic quality issues or technical issues or user UX issues affecting the site. Prioritize them, start doing the work, and then be patient, because you might have to wait for the next core update to roll out, or maybe the one after that, or maybe the one after that. It can take Google a really long time to, number one, process the changes, number two, to get back in their good graces if you've done anything a little bit shady. So the next thing that can happen is changes in user behavior. So this is the search volume for the keyword playground. It started to spike around August of 2022. And what happened in 2022? Well, first off, there were a number of different AI tools that used the word playground. And furthermore, there was a new adult toy store called Playground, or something Playground, and that was also launched in May 2022. Now, if you looked at the SERP, the search engine result page, in early 2022, you would see Costco's Playground e-commerce page ranking. You would see Wikipedia talking about playgrounds. You would see Home Depot selling playgrounds, just kind of what you would expect, right? But in late 2022, or rather in mid-2023, so a year later, we have the adult toy store ranking #1 for the keyword playground, and we have the Playground AI company ranking #2, and then Home Depot at #3. So if you've ever worked at an SEO agency, or you have a boss, or you have clients, you've probably experienced this before. If you're Home Depot or Costco, why are we not ranking #1 for Playground anymore? What do we do? What did they do better than us? And I want to walk through some what I would consider generic SEO responses, or maybe not the best way to respond, and then talk about how we can improve on those responses. So #1 might be, we should just build more links to our playground page. I don't know if that's really what caused those sites to outrank you, right? Like, links are great, but I don't know if that's really going to move the needle right now. Next would be, we should change our title tag and meta description. If we're good SEOs, we probably already had the keyword playground in our title tag and meta description. I don't know if changing that is really going to have an impact on this situation. #3 would be to say, well, the #1 ranking site has a better domain authority than us. Again, I don't know that, like, first of all, it's not a ranking factor. Second of all, domain authority is great, but I don't know if that's what's causing the issue here, right? So here are some smarter, more strategic ways to respond when something like this happens. You can tell your boss or your client, Well, there's a temporary surge in demand due to recent press around 2 new companies called Playground, but it will likely subside over time, right? We'll probably get that ranking back. That could be one. Number 2 could be, well, Playground's not really our top converting keyword anyway. We can look at some paid search data to identify the highest converting related terms and maybe focus our SEO strategies on those. Or you can say, well, we actually are getting a lot of conversions from Google Shopping and Google Images when people search for playgrounds. So maybe there's more that we can do to boost our rankings in those places. So just think strategically if something like this happens. Number 3 would be world crises and events. This can have a big impact during core updates. So we actually all got to experience this in real time when we lived through the coronavirus pandemic. And if you looked for the keyword masks right during the start or right before COVID, you would notice that it was a bunch of Halloween stores ranking with mask pages. And as soon as COVID kicked in, as soon as masks kind of changed in meaning, those pages stopped ranking on page 1 of Google. And the CDC, the World Health Organization, and the FDA started to appear in those positions instead. And Wikipedia, which was also ranking for the keyword masks before COVID, just kind of fell off temporarily because Google's like, we don't really need to define what a mask is right now. We need to make sure that we're getting masks to people. Now for the query flour, same situation during COVID. If you Google flour before COVID, you would see a local bakery franchise that people really love where they can go to the bakery and they can buy flour. And that site lost positions as soon as COVID kind of kicked in. But a site that was offering sourdough recipes and was sending those to people's homes and kind of shipping people sourdough and flour, that started to earn top positions. And there was a shift towards e-commerce sites that did have flour in stock, like Amazon and Target. So there's also overhauls to search, like the kind of onset of EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trust, which we know is more important for what we call your money, your life sites. So sites that can actually have a detrimental impact on people's safety and their well-being and cause harm to users. So this was especially true during the Medic update. It's been true for a while, but it really started to kick in and ramp up around 2018. So if you actually look before and after how things ranked when the Medic update was rolled out, if you take a keyword like hydrogen peroxide, you would see natural wellness blogs, maybe some mommy bloggers, ranking in top positions for like how to use maybe hydrogen peroxide around your home. After the Medic update, about 6 months later, you would notice that those spots were now taken by Healthline, by the National Institute of Health, by the Cleveland Clinic, chemicalsafetyfacts.org. So the SERP became a lot more clinical after Medic. If you look at the keyword natural cough remedies, you'll see the same thing. It used to be Dr. Axe. It used to be Common Sense Home, Holistic Health Herbalist. Now it's the WebMDs, the Mayo Clinics, the Cleveland Clinic. It's really what kind of changed during the course of the Medic update. And some other sites that were negatively impacted as well were sites that were doing a lot of like medical product reviews and weight loss supplements, as well as sites that had like either fake authors maybe talking about your money, your life topics, or just kind of lacking EEAT in a lot of these categories. And also sites that were pushing medical content, but kind of sneaking in affiliate links and discount codes, maybe like, oh, this diet is great, but you should buy my book or buy my weight loss pill. A lot of those sites lost performance during the Medic update. And on the flip side, we're seeing this consistent rise in the medical authorities. So in this chart, we have Pew Research, we have the CDC, we have the FDA, NIH, Mayo Clinic, and medicineplus.gov. These are sites that are just seeing consistent growth in SEO over time. And it's not necessarily because they have the best SEO teams in the world, although I'm sure they're great if they're here. It's because Google's really kind of pushing authoritative results, especially for a lot of different queries, both your money, your life queries and not, because this is one of the outcomes of the 2018 Medic update and surrounding core updates. It's an initiative by Google, and it's important during a pandemic, obviously. So next is relevancy shifts and QDF. Who knows what QDF is? Show of hands. Oh, it makes me so happy. We get to learn something new today. QDF is super important. I think it's really important for SEOs to understand it. Look it up if you don't totally understand after this talk. But it stands for Query Deserves Freshness. It's a set of Google algorithms that they launched in 2007, and it's still in the works today. So first, let's talk about relevancy shifts. So before the July 2021 core update, if you Googled Steel Dragon, you would see a video game called Steel Dragon, and you would also see a hardware company called Steel Dragon, right? It's a tough job for Google. Like, there's a lot of Steel Dragons. Which ones do you want? Now, the July 2021 core update took place, same keyword, Steel Dragon, and Google decided, algorithmically, that Steel Dragon is now a rock band. It's also a roller coaster in Korea. So the hardware company didn't do anything wrong. It's just that Google understood the user intent shifted a little bit, or the relevancy shifted a little bit. Maybe people are super interested in that roller coaster now. Barbie, great example of QDF. So who's seen the Barbie movie? Show of hands. Nice. I saw it like 3 days ago. I thought it was super fun. Anyway, so if you searched for Barbie last year, maybe before we knew there was going to be a movie, you would see places to buy Barbies. You would see information about Barbie. It's kind of almost like a stale, evergreen search result. But now Google knows inherently that when you search Barbie, you want news. You want something fresh. This is called QDF. The query deserves fresh results. And in fact, when you Google Barbie right now, you're going to see largely news results, reviews, things that have been published in the last maybe couple of days. This is a QDF keyword. And maybe when we're all tired of talking about Barbie, QDF won't be kicking in anymore. So that's how it works. And last but not least, I want to talk about intent switching. So let's start by talking about intent. This is going to be a bit of a whirlwind. So SEOs always talk about the 3 search intents. Our tools like to classify things. Oh, there's transactional, you're going to buy something. There's navigational, maybe you're looking for a brand. There's informational, you're looking for information about something. But I think we know by now, there's kind of a lot more than 3 search intents in SEO. There's more than 3 things that users want to do when they're typing in keywords. So here's the whirlwind. This is a more accurate list of search intents. We have buying a product, looking for pictures, reading product reviews, finding local businesses, seeing recent news, fact-checking, defining a word or phrase, like a definition intent, tutorials, maybe looking for stock photos, looking for recipes, Googling medical symptoms, finding local government resources, seeing pictures of something, booking a trip, watching a video, hearing a song, translating something, spell checking something, looking up how to do something, looking up lyrics, of course, looking up adult videos and images. That's a huge intent that we're not really going to talk about today. Researching reputation is, of course, there's way more than fits on this slide, but you get the idea. There's all these sub-intents and things that people are trying to do, even if they don't explicitly type that in the keyword. Now, don't forget about homonyms. This makes things even more fun. When you type the word break, did you mean breaking the law? Did you mean breakdancing? Did you mean going on a break, like a coffee break, or like a city break, like they say in London? I just learned this is how British people say vacation. Maybe the earth is shattering, that's a break. You could have a broken heart. Like, what kind of break are you talking about? Or if it's a roll, is it like a cinnamon roll or a movie roll, or maybe you're rolling some dough or doing a drum roll or a roll of toilet paper. So there's a lot going on here, right? So on top of the intents, it's also which meaning of the word did the user actually want to see? And user behaviors can kind of tip the scales and cause the intent to shift. So intent shifts are very frequent during core updates. Google might determine that a keyword requires a totally new intent, and it can adjust the rankings during core updates. So the query conference room, at the beginning of COVID, right before COVID happened rather, you would see a bunch of conference rooms, maybe like a WeWork that you could go rent out. When COVID started to happen and to kind of take place, Zoom suddenly moved into position 2 for the keyword conference room. And it's not like they had conference rooms. It was actually a virtual conference room page. But Google understood people typing conference room want Zoom, right? That's an intent shift. Or pages that are listing physical rooms that you could rent in person were actually replaced by informational content because that was a less good result when those places were closed during COVID. And again, Wikipedia disappeared. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just that Google's we don't really need you right now. We'll bring you back a little bit later because there's other stuff going on here. This is the keyword jukebox. If you look in 2022, there was a company called Jukebox Print ranking in position 1. In 2023, they fell down a lot. Why? Because OpenAI suddenly launched a new product called Jukebox. And there's also this 5th result where a site called Make Use Of is talking about OpenAI's Jukebox. So different intent, different relevancy, different things going on this year. This is the keyword Legos before and after a core update. And you can see there's shopping results, news results, product reviews. After the core update, you still had those same sites, but Google kind of shifted the order around because they knew when you type Legos, maybe the order of what you're looking for shifted slightly, or they got a better idea of it. For the keyword correctional, Google used to think that this meant, like a jail, a correctional facility. But after the July 2021 core update, Google decided that correctional is actually a keyword that it deserves a dictionary definition result. So that's an intent, right? It's an intent shift, because this actually happens a lot during core updates. Google says, you know what, that's a tough word, even for like native English speakers. We're going to show dictionary results in dictionary sites instead. In fact, that's one of the biggest impacted categories during core updates. So how do you respond to core updates and intent shifts? It's pretty tricky, right? So first thing my team and I love to do is to leverage tools that have before and after rank tracking functionality. Shout out to Stat, they do a really wonderful job with this. But you can basically take your keyword, see the list of sites that are ranking on different dates. You can compare those date by date, which is very helpful during a core update. You can also take, with a tool like Stat, you can take screenshots of the SERP automatically each day. So you can tell your client, oh, we actually saw you at this in this place, at this in this location. That's really, really helpful during core updates. And with that data, you can identify what changed. Was it an intent shift? Was it a new type of page or website? Were new or different SERP features introduced? And then you can conduct a side-by-side analysis of who's ranking now compared to your site. And this is where you can use fun tools like ChatGPT and other AI tools. When I built this, link reader was the way that I was doing it. It's no longer in the plugin store, so now we use WebPilot. But you can basically take two different URLs with a plugin like WebPilot and say, hey, ChatGPT, what is URL 1 doing that URL 2 is not? Or how does URL 1 do a better job of meeting the intent if the intent is to buy a product or learn about this and this thing? And it's amazing what these tools can provide you with. Anthropic has a new tool called Claude that's fantastic for this. The main difference is that with Claude, you can actually upload files. You can like upload PDFs or upload CSVs. So I like to take 2 web pages, export them as PDFs, upload them to Claude, and tell me, how is the intent different? What is URL 1 doing better than URL 2, vice versa? A lot of great information there. Now, don't forget to create content that covers all the possible intents, which might require different site sections. So for example, if you're trying to rank for the keyword Superman, maybe you have one tag page and one article page. The tag page says, here's who Superman is, here's the recent articles about him, here's his bio, here's some pictures of him. But the article page says, here's the top 10 best Superman movies. Now, this is not duplicate content. They have 2 different intents, 2 different page purposes. And if you have these 2 pages, Google might decide on its own which one it wants to rank for Superman at any given time, or maybe both at the same time. And this can shift during core updates and otherwise. So meet all the possible intents. And also be everywhere that search engines can possibly find you. There's a lot more than just the 10 blue links, or 7 blue links, or whatever it is these days. So moving beyond text, we can create videos. Google loves videos. All the search engines love videos. YouTube ranks for everything. I'm sure you've noticed this by now. There's also audio. Maybe you can interview someone at your company and make it an audio file that you upload to SoundCloud or Bandcamp, you know? Google can actually transcribe this content and rank it for different things. This is kind of the future of search. There's Reels, there's YouTube Shorts, there's TikTok. Like, get your experts, get the people that work at your company just talking, saying things. Search engines are eating this stuff up because consumers love it, their audiences love it. So think about creating Reels. Again, podcasts rank really well for a lot of different things. Google can also ingest the information that's included in the podcast. Great way to build up your EEAT, which brings us to doing EEAT-focused SEO strategies. It's a great way to future-proof your SEO for core updates. Of course, we're going to be talking about images during this conference. There's so many different ways that Google's elevating high-quality images. Optimize your knowledge graph. The people that work at your company, make sure that their knowledge panels look okay, help them claim it, use structured data to kind of enhance what appears there. If you love Google Discover, come talk to me after. I'm obsessed with it, but it's a really, really great way to bring your site more traffic, and it's kind of an untapped area of organic search, so we'll talk about that another time. Google Perspectives is a brand new feature, and this is something that appears in the search results when Google thinks they should show multiple different perspectives. Or you can click a little Perspectives tab, and you can see YouTube, Reddit, Quora, people sharing TikTok videos. This is a new feature of search and a great way to get included. You can also consider optimizing for SGE and Bing Chat. It's not easy, but it's possible. You can influence what appears there. It's still in beta, but we'll see what happens. This is also probably the future of search. And don't forget, if your site is affected by a core update, you might have to wait until the next core update rolls out or the one after that to see any type of significant change in performance, so just be patient. And remember that intent shifts are kind of inevitable. Sometimes you can't use SEO to counteract them. You might just have to wait or do your best to just provide good quality content with what you do have. And optimize all the things. So provide content that meets all the possible intents as much as it makes business sense to do so, and cover as much ground as possible. And with that, I hope you have a lovely MozCon. I'll see you guys at the after party tomorrow night. Thank you.